Pinball Wizardry lands on the Atari with Obsession, and it's flippin' fantastic. We take a deep dive into its development, gameplay, and impact on this ST-enhanced episode of the Atari ST Show. Hi everybody, welcome to the Atari ST Show. I'm John.
And I'm Aaron.
And today, Aaron, we're talking about obsession.
Oh man.
Aaron, have you ever been obsessed with a particular pinball machine?
Yes. I mean, several actually. I mean, to own or to play?
To play. One you just couldn't stop putting quarters into.
I love Taxi. You know, I love that game. I know you like it too.
I love it.
I just love playing it. It's got a flow to it that I enjoy. I would always want to own a Twilight Zone pinball machine because I love the Twilight Zone. It's a beautiful machine, but I don't necessarily think it's the best pinball machine. But it's certainly the one that had the most cool toys in it, you know. But when it comes to the ultimate pinball machine, if I could pick anyone to own, I would say Taxi would be up there. The new Tron is quite nice too. I kind of like that one, but all the new Stern machines are cheap.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
They feel cheap. They're not cheap to buy.
No, but they don't feel as quality as what I've got. I mean, I like the ones I've got. I'm happy with them when I get to play them. What about you?
You know, we're cut from the same cloth when it comes to pinball machines. Taxi is the machine that I've played the most. Not in person, but on iPad form, actually. I got the Pinball Arcade. Remember when that was a thing?
Give me 5 machines you love.
Okay.
Any type.
Taxi.
Yeah.
Triple Action, the machine that I own.
It,
but also because it's great.
Yeah.
Theater of Magic.
Yep, great one.
I like this is weird, it's not a real table, but Blade on Pinball FX.
The Marvel character Blade?
Like, I know that you're not wild, and I don't know anything about Blade, but I think that machine's good. Number 5, boy, it's tough because then there's like a million other machines that are good. I think probably maybe Teed Off. That's a good one. I like Teed Off.
I'm going to go with Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh, yeah.
Taxi. Gorgar, that one that can do digital or with the bells and whistles that came out right in the middle. I love that game. I'm going to go... but I love Theater of Magic. It's another one I played a lot. And Twister, I really like a lot. So I'm not saying it's my 5 favorites. They're up there.
It's funny because that machine's right there. I'm going to switch out Teed Off with Whodunit.
I
love Whodunit.
Whodunit's better.
Yeah, I love Whodunit.
Whodunit. When Brent was like, listen, what do you think about this Whodunit? I'm like, bam, I'm in.
Yeah.
I like the missions and stuff.
Yeah.
Same reason I think Next Gen's a better pin, but Whodunit, I like the plot a lot.
I just haven't played a lot of Next Gen.
It's awful good. Yeah. It's awful good. And it really, all the real big 90s pinball machines, your Addams Families and your Attack from Mars, they're all quite good.
Yeah.
I really like
Addams
a lot
Family's another one that, like, I love Addams Family, as you know, but I've just never played it. I've never been, like, I guess you can get it on something. Is it available digitally?
Yeah. Okay. Medieval Madness is another great one. Black Knight, the original. I heard the guys over at Pixel Gaten talking about Black Knight 2000. It's pretty good, but I like the original better.
I forgot about Black Hole. I love Black Hole.
Black Hole's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Haunted House is also great.
I don't like the art in Haunted House. I like the back glass, but the actual on-field art, I'm not too keen on.
Black Hole is one I would love to own.
We both are pinball fans.
Yeah.
When we go back to Chicago, if we ever get back up there together, we should go to the pinball version of the arcade, because that's one thing we didn't get to see, and we both love pinball.
Right. All right, Aaron, let's talk about obsession. So, this week's Atari ST Show is brought to you by our patrons, and in particular, Game Selection Committee members Salem OK, Richard Davey, and Dave Velociraptor.
Yeah, well done, boys.
Obsession, Aaron. This is a pinball game. It is for the Atari STE only.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
This is an ST enhanced title only. It was developed and published by the same outfit, Unique Development Sweden, UDS, in 1994. We know them because they did that crazy, wacky undersea first-person shooter, Substation.
Oh man.
Yeah, they did that.
Those guys were way ahead of the curve there.
That's right.
To a painful degree.
This is one of the last commercial games to see release for the Atari ST. Think about 1994, pretty late in the game for the ST.
Yeah.
But this was one of the first games to to be created by UDS. UDS did this, then Substation, then they were out. They went on to do other stuff under other platforms.
They were late to the party, too late to the party, I think.
Yeah. So a little bit about UDS's background. They were established in 1992 by Peter Zetterberg and Michael Brunstrom. And they began writing games for the STE as a hobby, and they just wanted to earn some dough for it. So, hey, why not? The original idea was to create a shareware game inspired by Pinball Dreams.
Yeah, clearly.
But the project soon expanded into a full-fledged commercial game with 4 different tables, each with its own theme, music, graphics, sound effects.
Yeah.
So the development team, like I said, included Peter Zetterberg. He was the co-founder of UDS. He worked on several games for the Atari STE and other platforms such as Smash Hit. That was his first commercial release. Then he did Absolute Pinball, which came out in 1996. This was a sequel to Obsession and has new tables. This was a PC-only release.
And I have played that one.
Okay.
In fact, I don't remember anything about it, but I have played it.
Michael Brunstrom was one of the programmers, and he worked on No Fear Downhill Mountain Biking, which is a racing game for the PlayStation.
Okay.
He worked on Ignition, which was a racing game for the PC that was also ported to the PlayStation. And Hans Herod, he worked on The Core Gang, which was a platform game for the Wii. And Callie Lundqvist was one of the programmers. And he worked on Snowboard Racer 2 for the PS2. So basically all of these guys, they left the ST pretty soon, and they continued their development well into the PS2, 360, and Wii.
They had no choice,
generation.
though, did they?
Yeah.
They had to go. There was no more market for the ST.
Yeah. So, Obsession was developed with what they call the no compromise approach.
Ooh.
Okay, so these guys, they were working on their own time scale. They were their own publishers, so they could put out the game whenever they wanted. And they wanted to really push the limits of the STE's hardware, okay? They wanted to create a pinball game. Of course, they were looking at Pinball Dreams, and they said, hey, we want to do that. And as you can see, on the Amiga version, this thing was actually, I believe, released under the banner of 21st Century Entertainment, the same developer, or the same publisher that put out Pinball Dreams, Pinball Illusions, and all those. So what they do, they used 42 colors on screen, which is a lot of colors for one time for the old ST. Resolution of 336 by 260. There are 5 audio channels, 4 for music and 1 for sound effects. And of course, this was released in PAL. The game features smooth scrolling and a high score table. So what you get here is basically one development team's attempt to recreate the Pinball Dreams, Pinball Fantasies, Pinball Illusions style gameplay for the ST. Aaron, your thoughts when you fired up this game for the first time?
Well, I was ultimately confused when I first fired it up because I knew from talking to you that this thing had a real bizarre menu system. And it takes the same menu system that Pinball Dreams has with the function keys, except that it scrolls them through the screen.
It's like a rotating cube.
It's dumb.
Rectangle.
Let's call it what it is. It's no good.
It's not great.
It wasn't good on Pinball Dreams when I did it that way.
But again, this is a very demo scene way to present.
Well,
things.
it's make it hard for the consumer.
Yes.
Well, that's probably why. I mean, that's dumb. Is my point. So to get to the options on this thing, it's the old hunt and peck to try to find the options. And then once I got to the options, the first thing I noticed when I was playing this game was every table has our 5 balls. I don't like 5 balls. I want 3 balls. Right. Well, you can change it in Pinball Dreams. In this, I could not find any way to change it.
I don't think you can change it.
So that was strike one. This game, at least the version I played, defaulted to not having any music. So I turned that on, and because the music's pretty good.
Yeah. And playing these types of tables without music is no good.
Right.
There's something to be said for playing the old school games that have the chimes and everything. But in this game, there are no chimes. You either it's the sound of the flippers hitting, or the ball hitting the flippers or the targets. You got to have that background.
Not to mention, you could have both. Why would you not want both?
Right. Or why would you not set both as default?
And on top of everything else, you can just turn the music up whenever you want with the M key.
Right.
So that's, there you go.
And just for the record, is it page down for the? I believe it's
it
page down.
was. And you could also, so the other options, might as well go over them, there are various audio options, which are what they are. But there's an option at the bottom of the screens, and this is the old LCD display or whatever, LED. You can embiggen it or smallen it for whatever reason. And either way, you can do that on the fly as well. But anyway, getting to the tables itself, I was pleased that it's got 4 tables. That's good. I didn't know. I never heard of this, despite the fact that I thought we covered almost every pinball machine on the Amiga, and this has an Amiga port, but I'd never heard it or played this. I was stunned. Did you ever play this before?
Never.
So I was real fired up. Well, I guess we can go over these one. You would go over one table at a time.
So Aquatic Adventure is the first table on offer.
Right.
This is an underwater theme. And you control, the story behind this game is, I guess your ball represents Bobby Bubble.
Yeah.
On the
you found the story for this too, eh? Yeah.
On the table, Bobby Bubble looks like a real geek.
Yeah. What a dork.
He's a skin diver wearing a skin tight green bodysuit with his pudgy belly.
In wrestling, they call a guy like this skinny fat.
Yeah.
That's what they call him.
That's what they call me too.
Yeah. Yeah, but with a PH. Don't worry about it.
And so Bobby Bubble is searching for treasure using a map stolen by Captain, get this, Aaron, Captain Not Polite.
Yeah.
Not Polite.
Very clever.
So and so what in this game you've got a couple ramps to hit. This is probably the most traditional of the tables, I would say. Would you say that? As far as the way the ramps are set up?
It's got an opening skill shot. It's got it's got a multi-lane switcher, so you can switch to pick letters. It's got bumpers at the top. It's got I would say it's the most traditional. It's got a kickback you can light up. It does have an odd loop in the center top that lets you pick different letters, but you don't pick them; they just come up. But it's odd. It's a real weird setup. That part is odd. The way they've got that in there, but otherwise pretty traditional call outs. To launch the ball in these games, first you have the spacebar to start. You could actually play 1 to 8 players on every one of these tables using the function keys. So 8 players. Maybe. And then you hit the spacebar to start the game, and then you pull down on the arrow to power up your shot. I like the fact there's a meter at the bottom, which is good. And then you're off. The shift keys, although there's no mouse or joystick support for the buttons, which I didn't like. But this board, that guy is so dumb looking that it took away for me. But this would be great for like a kid. This is like a kid's table.
Yeah.
I don't mean like it's a traditional table, but the theme is very kid friendly.
Absolutely.
There's like a dolphin and fish and. And
the dolphin kind of looks like Dumbo a little bit.
Yeah, the call outs are cute. One thing they didn't overdo it on the call outs in this and the little chimes. You can turn the chimes on and off, which I thought was interesting. I never did it, but you could. But yeah, I thought this was totally fine. I don't like the color scheme they use for the actual for the bumpers. It's real pale looking to me. The whole upper part of the playfield is too pale. There's not enough color up there, and at the bottom you get that dopey. So I like the table. I don't like the art.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So the next one, Aaron, is called Exile Zone.
Yeah.
Exile spelled cool guy style.
Oh yeah, got to.
Okay.
I thought this was gonna be like the X-Files. It is not.
It is not. It's dumb. This is
wow, pre-burial.
This is a table, I guess, according to the docs here. It's set in 2058 after a nuclear attack, and you're trying to track down and kill an enemy leader.
Yeah.
This is a game. I'm not exactly sure where the theme fits in with this. What you see on this table is you see I think is that a girl with a gun, or is it just a guy that's got like kind of feminine eyes?
I think that's a lady.
Yeah.
But don't hold me to that. There's a skull. This is your cool guy table right here. And unlike there's no satanic stuff on it, which is but this is the sci-fi table. It's okay. It's a little less traditional than the first one, but it's still fairly traditional. You've got your bumpers at the top. You've got your lanes, lane changing ability. at the top. You've got kickbacks on both sides. This was the table I played the least. I will say that. The art package it's okay. This one's like mission based, more but it's okay.
Yeah, you're essentially trying to knock down drop targets to activate various missions, but there's not very much to do. When you hit the ramp up to the top of the playfield, it just looks like you've got a couple ramps and you've got a set of 5 drop targets. This one, I think, is one of the weaker tables for sure.
One thing about this package that I found fascinating, it does simulate Pinball Dreams and stuff in a lot of ways. And one of the ways is you never seem to have as much power as you need, which is the exact same problem I have with a lot of Pinball Dreams and the other ones, is that you really can't get good wood on the ball. And this becomes more apparent in one of the other tables, but this is perfectly serviceable. I thought this was the second weakest. That's not true. Yeah, second. It's middling at best.
Okay,
let's go with that.
Now, next up, we have my favorite table.
Really?
Okay.
Wow, I thought it's the worst one.
Oh, see, I like this one because it was different. Okay.
It's definitely different.
So this is balls and bats. You wouldn't think that a Norwegian outfit would come out with a baseball-themed table.
Yeah, I was sure with the American flag on it.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, they got the New York Yankees sign on. There's also a realistic image of Babe Ruth.
It's like a baseball card or something.
There, yeah. This is a game where you are trying to knock a ball up into the upper left quadrant of the screen. And that triggers sort of like a bat and ball mini game.
Yeah.
They have these machines. You used to see them in arcades all the time. You still can find them in places like Myrtle Beach, where you have a computerized pitching machine that essentially pitches a ball at your flipper, and you have to hit it up into the playfield, and it causes your base runners to run around and score.
Those are so much fun.
Yeah.
I remember playing this when I was a kid. They had them at campgrounds and stuff. They were so awesome.
They're pretty much the last surviving remnants of the electromagnetic games.
You see those more than most. Yeah, I agree with you both.
And so this game incorporates that into the table itself. So once you hit the ball up there, it will tell you, okay, here comes a curveball, here comes a fastball. Then it'll throw the ball down at you, and you've got to bat it back up and try and hit a home run. Now, Aaron, what did you not like about this table?
The music is... I like the music on this table, but it's totally wrong for this table.
Yeah.
Totally.
You need to have Take Me Out to the Ball Game or
well,
something.
Well, they do. If you get to the high score table, and it plays the most whack job version I've ever heard. And the funny thing is that the general theme for this table is goofy, and it's not bad. But if you get to the entire first verse, they start playing it on an organ, which makes a lot more sense. I don't like the baseball player they've got. This guy's...
See, I think he looks fine.
Look at his body. He's like a human being.
Listen, he looks like David Wells.
No one looks like that. He looks like a human weasel. The color scheme for this thing's all screwed up. It's got lots of pinks and crap at the top. Again,
the color scheme on a lot of these upper tables is real weird.
With all that said, I did play this one a lot because I thought the weird pitching, because it throws different sorts of pitches.
Yeah.
But I can never tell. Like, sometimes your ball just drains and you lose.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't. And I don't know. I never could tell what I needed the light to get that on. And it was real odd. But I mean, I didn't like this one that much, but it was the most unique of all these tables by a long shot. And it is wacky to me that there's a baseball-themed game complete with, they didn't give a crap. New York Yankees. Can you imagine this now? The Yankees would come over there with a ball, with a ball bat, start whacking the guys. You know, and I'm sure the estate of Babe Ruth would be interested in having a word or two with them. But yeah, this one was my least favorite.
Interesting.
Art-wise and music-wise, but gameplay-wise, it was also super simple. I mean, there's just not much to it except for the pitching aspect. That's why I didn't like it. That's my reasoning on that one.
All right, and finally, Aaron, we've got Desert Run.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is probably my second favorite table.
Yeah.
I like this one because it was easy to see what to do. I really like tables. A big problem that I have with all of these games, illusions, dreams, whatever, is that you are aiming for things that you can't see.
Yeah.
You're aiming for targets that are beyond the range of the screen. And I love it when games give you lit up arrows that kind of give you an idea of what direction you're aiming for. And this game does that. This game tells you exactly what you're supposed to do. It tells you exactly what you're supposed to light, and it's also very colorful. This is based on, I guess, maybe like a rally type race.
Yeah, the Paris to Dakar race.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just loved it. I like the racing themes are always great translated to pinball machines because there's so many speed related things you can do with them. There's a pit section. There's like a hairpin turn section. I love the roads on the upper playfield. I thought they looked great.
Yeah.
I just thought that all around this was a great table.
I think this is the best one. It's busy, but it's fun. You're right about knowing where to put the ball. That's really important, and a lot of these pinball games don't get that. That's one thing Pinball Dreams did better than almost any game before or since. Mm-hmm. You had an idea of where the ball was going to go, and it ran slower than most of the other ones, so you had a better chance. This one is very clever because you have to do things in stages. Before you can go to the gas station, you need money. Before you can go around the victory lap, you need to get gas. It's like mission based, not having to activate anything, which I like. It's beautiful. It's the best looking table by far. This is the table with the most stuff to do by far. The sound was good. It reminds me of some other racing games that I've played. You know, there are some I played where you have to go past certain flags and stuff. This one didn't. This one was sort of a drainer. A couple of these things are drainers. And this one, if the ball just tends to float right down the middle on a lot of these shots, especially if you miss one. This is the one where you don't have enough power in your flippers. There's the pit stop, and the home run was like this too in the last one. They're difficult to hit them that hard. And if you play real pinball, that doesn't happen. You generally can generate enough power with the flippers to do that. It's something that always bugged me in these virtual games that never made much sense to me. But this one, I mean, I liked every part. The tune is good. But I will say across the board on these, because we've played some stuff like Spider, soft stuff that have been no good, okay? You can botch pinball real easily, okay? Now, I had some odd ball movements a couple times playing these, but for the most part, I thought they had the physics down pretty well, you know? Are they pinball fantasies level well? I'd say they're close enough. They're not. I think they're close. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're too close, frankly, in some ways. But listen, these are at home. I played this on the Amiga and the Atari. We should also talk about that, Bo, while we're thinking about it.
Yeah, and I do want a quick correction. In my mind, when I fired this up on the Amiga, I thought I saw that 21st Century logo. That's untrue. This was also published by Unique Development Sweden on the Amiga as well.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. The overall, though, the Amiga version compared to the Atari version, they're very, very similar, if we're honest. I played both. Now, we should probably mention that I played this in the Mister, so did you, and there was a slight lag on the Atari STE version that the Amiga didn't have. Now, we both did some investigating on this, and I heard some people in forums mention that there was a slight lag on their actual hardware, and then some people said, nah, it never lags. So that could be a Mister thing, and the thing is, pinball, as you know, is super sensitive to that.
Right.
You know right away if it's not up to par. And so your mileage may vary on this. If you're watching or listening to this, if you want to leave us a comment, and let us know your experience with this game on actual hardware. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So Obsession was one of the last commercial games to be released for the ST. I guess the ST was officially discontinued in 1993, but there were still more pinball titles that came after it. Pinball Mania came out in 1995, and then the ST also got Slam Tilt in 1996.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
When this was ported to the Amiga in 1995, it was compared unfavorably to the other pinball games, which is, I mean, it's understandable because this is, like I said, I'd say this game is probably 90% of the game. There's others are, but the tables on the whole are just weaker.
Well, I think a lot of that's Amiga bias.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because I think if this could be stand up, I mean, table wise, none of these tables are crap. None of them.
No.
You know, and the thing is, we played other games, like we both like Pinball Dreams more than any of the others in the series, right?
And there's some real stinkers on some of the other games.
And I like, and here's something else I like. They did a good job keeping the display from being irritating, which is a problem we had after the series left Pinball Dreams. We don't, that thing got too big.
Right.
I like the fact that you can change the size of this one too. So yeah, listen, I think this is a winner. Don't let any biased crap get in your way, because me and Bo have played a ton of pinball on the computers and consoles. This is dandy. I was happy to find it, frankly.
Yeah. Now, this game I was watching a Let's Play of this, I believe, on YouTube, and the main developer, who's known as Blade on YouTube, commented. He said that the Amiga version does have some bug fixes in it.
Yeah.
And he in recent years he realized that he could have actually made this for a plain Jane ST. He said that 45% of the CPU time in this game was used for the music. So he could have probably cut that down a little bit and opened up some extra CPU space for the gameplay. And he said that sync scrolling could have been used instead of hardware scrolling. But anyway, he still finds it nice that it's still around. And he says that this game is completely freeware now. He says you can download it with abandon and not feel guilty at all.
You know what you said about the music? It makes sense because much like Pinball Dreams again, this has no multi-ball on any table.
Yeah.
And so when you've got that kind of overhead, you can see why they didn't do that. You know, and multi-ball is sort of overrated. I think you'll agree with me on this.
Oh yeah.
Because some games just take it to the nth degree. It's stupid. I don't mind not having multiple as long as you've got lots of good shots. Not every table in this has lots of good shots, but there are some tables that are quite good with making fun shots. So yeah, but I mean, and the music. I mean, even the baseball music, which I didn't like for that theme. It's good music. It's just not good for baseball.
Right.
So yeah, but I like the music. I like the visuals. I think this is a big winner on the ST. This is one I'd say is, if you get an STE, it's a must-buy.
Oh yeah. And this game reviewed very well in the magazines. ST Review gave it a 90, and ST Format gave it an 88. So the reviewers liked it. We got one Discord review. Okay. Comes from Salem OK. It says, Obsession is another STE game which takes full advantage of the extra available hardware. Unfortunately, it will not run on a vanilla ST with degraded graphics or sound like Wings of Death. Technically, the game is extremely impressive and once again showing that the STE could have been a respectable 16-bit gaming machine in the early 90s.
Yes.
The introduction menu is very fancy with its 3D rotating menu, but a bit clunky to use, clearly showing the demo scene ancestry of the game on both accounts.
That's exactly what you said. Yeah. I love it.
Well, I mean, whenever you see some rotating 3D shape, you know those guys were demo guys.
Oh, man.
In the game, the vertical scrolling, the colorful graphics, and the digital sounds are top shelf. The graphics seem to be very cleverly laid out, so the color palette changes as you scroll, giving you a table with more colors overall than you see on a single frame. Design-wise, the 4 pinball tables on offer are quite varied with plenty of ramps. The game mechanics and bonuses are state-of-the-art for a pinball game of this era as far as I can judge. The physics of the ball is excellent and realistic. I found the lack of background music a bit jarring, but it looks like a problem with the Peter Patari version of the game, as the debug version has all the background music and some sound effects that were missing on the HD version and was much more pleasant to play because of that. So I think he didn't discover the options menu.
Yeah.
I have had the feeling that the flippers were a bit slow to react, which is a terrible problem to have for this kind of game. However, my own incompetence at pinball games in general could be the culprit. All in all, an amazing entry in the very small STE exclusive game library. From the looks of it, the STE version is on par with the Amiga version, except for the digital sounds and music, which might even sound a bit clearer and fuller. My only issue is that being a former STF owner, a Falcon owner, I have no nostalgia for this game in my pinball... Oh no, maybe that's not what that means. I don't know what STF means. I have no nostalgia for this game, and my pinball gaming experience went straight from Madcap Bumper on the ST in 1987 to Balls of Steel in 1997 on my Pentium 100.
Oh yeah.
Skipping the Pinball Dreams era of pinball games. So as good as Obsession is, it can't compare with the ballsiness of BOS, which remains an unsurpassable masterpiece that I still regularly come back to. 7 out of 10. Would have been an easy 8, but I dropped a point because of the flippers.
You know, so he had the same trouble we did with the flippers. Again, the music, there's a thing there. He could have just not known about the menu. You know, so yeah, I it's been so long since I played Balls of Steel. I'm not going to make a comparison there. But I mean, this also shows you, where's this music been?
Right.
Where's this been?
Yeah, this
Can
music
we get
is
some
great.
of this?
This is probably, I mean, I played the tunes on this, and I would spend time just sort of grooving, not even playing the game. I will say I hate the 5-ball thing, just like you do.
Yeah.
I just get tired. I want 3 balls, and I want to get out.
Right, and the fact that you can't change that is
Yeah.
a big deterrent.
Yeah.
And I mean, that I don't understand. Is that a European thing? Because Pinball Dreams defaulted to 5 balls, too, and I never understood why.
Well, I think a lot of the old school machines from the 70s defaulted to 5 balls. Like Triple Action's a 5-ball game. So maybe
I can understand that on one of those, but man, not on video pinball, because a ball could take forever anyway.
Right.
You know, so yeah, but a good game. I think Salem nailed it there with his little mini review. And it's nice to know that someone actually owned this and played it on the ST, so pretty cool.
Oh, and Spinny informs us that STF stands for ST Floppy. No TV modulator, monitor only. Thank you.
Oh, man, I never would have guessed that,
Yeah.
Bo. Good Lord.
All right. Well, Aaron, it is time to bid a fond farewell to Obsession. As we want to thank everybody for listening. We do record this show live on Twitch, twitch.tv/amigosretrogaming. If you want to support our show, you can visit patreon.com/Atari ST Show. We do have a goal. You know, Patreon goals are going away, Aaron. I don't know if you've heard this. You probably don't, because you don't work on that side of things.
I haven't heard this.
They're like, yeah, we're taking them away because nobody uses them. Well, like, we use it.
Everyone uses it. We used it on ARG Presents, too.
Yeah, they're going away.
Those idiots.
We're still keeping our goal, even though it won't be there. If we get to $200 a month in Patreon support, the Atari ST Show will go from a monthly show to a weekly show. And listen, there's one thing we've learned, Aaron, is that the ST has a lot of good stuff to uncover.
Yeah.
There's plenty of games out there.
Now we're hitting our stride,
That's
finally.
Right. And that leads us to our ST supporter roll call. We want to thank all of our patrons of this show, including Chicote, David Cavalieri, Control Alt Reese, Laurent Giroux, Twilight Zoner, Wanderly Chesum, Retro Jerry, and Bernard Quinn.
Thank you.
What are we playing next week, Aaron?
Let's find out. You know it's going to be classy, whatever it is. Oh.
Does it get classier than a game called Crap Man?
Man, we had such a good thing going, and now we're going to play Crap Man.
It doesn't fill me with delight. Hopefully the game is better than the title.
Oh, that name sucks.
Yeah.
My God.
That's no good. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you play
your Atari today. Do it.